Ndiyazibulisela kuni nonke babukele emakhaya kwijelo lakho losasazo iMpuma Kapa TV igama kulusibetho kwa-Antoni. Ndinakwamkela kwinkqubo yethu yangokuhlwanje i-State of the Nation Address Panel Discussion. Ukanti le ngxoxo ndizokuyenza ndodwa apha estudio ndihleli nosisi Asanda Fotoyi kwakunye notata uMandla Madwarha nozokube kunye nathi ngobuxhakaxhaka bale mihla. Sisi Asanda nawe tata uMadwarha siyanamkele ngokuhlwanje. Sisi Asanda masigawule sorhuqa ingaba intetho yobume besizwe kaPresident uCyril Ramaphosa ibe njani kuwe?
Your intetho ka-President, it was very optimistic. It had a very strong economic tone, and it was very, action orientated, if I can say that.
Sisi njengomuntu oyi-economist, would you say uPresident covered everything that has to do with economy yalapha eMzantsi Afrika?
Yes, our president touched on, a lot of areas in the economy. He spoke a lot about, what's happening in the different industries. He mentioned, the importance of the mining sector as the backbone of the economy, especially during the times COVID-19. He also mentioned, the support that and programs that they're putting together as a government to support new industries. He mentioned cannabis development for the Eastern Cape economy as well as the KZN. But most importantly, his speeches, President emphasized a lot on infrastructure development, which is very important for economic development. He spoke about, improving roads, improving, water infrastructure. He spoke about improving ports in order to, promote the exportation of agricultural produce. So it was very much, it had a very heavy, economic tone. He also, towards the end or the middle of his speech, he also talked about, a land reform to stimulate or to, support small farmers. So it was very much, around the economy and the industries. He also talked about supporting businesses. He mentioned the new bounce back scheme that they're going to be rolling out in order to support business so that they can recover from the losses and the damage of COVID-19. So for me, it was very comprehensive. It was very much around, recovering the economy. He also spoke about, the master plans in the different industries, which are very important for, developing our manufacturing sector. He mentioned the sugar master plan. He mentioned the steel master plan. So it was very much, around the economy, developing the economy. He also talked about rolling out of the social grants to, for the next year, which is very important injection into the economy, because then it allows abantu who don't have income, people who maybe would have been affected negatively by, poverty, to be able to get imali that they can spend in the economy. So it was very much comprehensive in that sense.
Now that we touch into your COVID-19 relief fund, is available mali?
Well, if you remember, a couple of weeks back, the National Treasury with many imali from the World Bank. And it's unfortunate that it was not, talked about in the speech, but, one would then guess that, that money will be used, towards the, all these programs that the president, talked about.
Yes, it's in portals. We have seen portals being a challenge and still is a challenge in South Africa. So do you think this time around, President Nyan also does lungisi portals up in South Africa?
Uchilo, uitatile speech potholes, it's one of the challenges when he was speaking about, fixing roads. It falls under the roads infrastructure. We can only hope that, because it's not a new thing. Potholes, during the holidays, when the driver those potholes are bad. They're very bad. So, it'd be helpful that, that they really do something about it.
Okay. Masiye ku Tatu Madwarha. Tatu Madwarha, right? Tatu Madwarha.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. How are you doing?
Oh, okay,
Oh, okay, Tata, I'm right that.
Philile njani?
Ndiyaphila. Tata, upresident kudala wazenza izithembiso but ufike kuba i-challenges zona zisekhona. Ucinga uba kwesi State of the Nation address ikhona into azade ayifezekise ebantwini?
Well, Lusulwetu, he has no choice. But actually to implement and deliver on the promises. We are here right now on the verge of really crises from all different angles, you know. So for me, it gives me a sense of hope because the sense of urgency, the appointed activities that have got to be undertaken, as in electricity, as in unlocking bureaucracies, you know, to allow in particular small businesses, you know, to flourish, deregulate the labor bureaucracies, as he has said. So to be worth anything led by him, there's only one option, but actually to implement what he's talking about, you know, and we can only measure him on the deliverables that actually have got timeframes that he has actually, you know, is very specific on these, especially augmenting the number of energy generation projects, which the economy needs to be able to deliver jobs, you know, especially that the independent power producers have got the capacity to implement, you know, this project as long as they make life easy for them, especially when people are bidding, they make quick decision and the guys are on the ground. So for me, really, for the first time having heard so many sonas, this one is really about getting out of the crisis or pulling back from the actual verge of crisis.
Tata, njengomuntu oyi-business or businessman or business owner, upresident leke wathetha ngento ethi government does not create businesses, but I mean jobs, but businesses create jobs. What's your take on that statement?
Yeah, look, he's actually correct. That is why I'm impressed that he then has got a team that actually would unlock exactly these bureaucracies that, you know, hinders the private people actually to invest or expand on the current investment, and as I say, deregulate, you know, the bureaucracies and all sorts of unnecessary compliances, you know, and to me, this is exactly where we would measure him. That why must it take a year for DTI to approve a grant? Why must it take IDC 2 years to approve a funding application? I mean, by that time, the opportunity is gone, the market is gone, somebody else has taken that opportunity, you know? So he's correct.
Ungathi kwi-speech sakhe tata ungaba ucoverishe yonke into when it comes to businesses okanye ikhona into ayiphosileyo umongameli?
Look, for me, I must say that he pleasantly surprised me about this issue of bureaucracy. I must be, you know, I must repeat that for the obvious reasons, and also touching quite a number of fronts, including, you know, the efficiency of our ports. That to me is also very important. And then, of course, augment the water reticulation, the Mzimvubu Dam supported by small other dams to support the agriculture and for domestic and industrial consumption. I think it's covered. That is why probably the speech took that long, And to me, I think the most critical parts he has covered in terms of infrastructure, the roads, the bridges, you know, especially in the rural areas, the agriculture sector. He has addressed the mining industry. He has addressed, you know. So for me, I think the issue now is the implementation. You know, that's where I think the outcry that whether actually the president is a man of promises and nothing else, again, for him, hopefully going to the second term, is to oversee those implementation with urgency. So for me, I must say that it's quite a remarkable, pointed, practical, time-framed speech.
Do you think plan ka president the economic opportunities athetha ngazo ne-job creations zinto ezipossible azokwazi uzenza ngale time frame yena ibekileyo?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one because, I mean, unemployment has really been, you know, a major issue in South Africa for the longest time, even before COVID. And there have been programs that have been, you know, office of the presidency and, you know, and around other departments and structures of government. So I mean, the employment has been, you know, worsened by COVID. And I think, as the president had said today, I mean, he strongly, you know, put it out there that it is, you know, mostly private businesses that need to come to the party and help, you know, our economy with addressing this issue. Uzithethile ke nezinye programs ezincinci abazenzayo, and they had, I think, you know, projections and timelines. Some of them are not new. Some of them we've heard them before, and we can only just hope, as you know, my fellow panelists, Chilobana, you know, they will fast track implementation so that we can see results. But from his speeches, there is hope. There is, you know, there's action. There's thinking that's happening on their side. You know, there's things that they're pushing, but they need to do more, and they need to do more very fast.
So kumntu ehlele ekhaya sisuthi makabe nethemba, but ithemba ngelinye ixesha liyadanisa.
Liyadanisa ithemba. But you know what? For me, I think on the issue of addressing unemployment, especially youth unemployment, I feel by now from his speeches, President, something that was lacking is there was no direct program or direct intervention that, you know, was focused purely on youth businesses. You know, because not too long ago, I don't know whether it was today or yesterday, we had Umfana or a Secretary General youth businesses in South Africa, and he was calling on the president, saying, "President, as youth businesses, we are ready to, you know, to tackle and assist the government when it comes to addressing issues of unemployment, especially for abantu abancinci." So for me, not to hear a president saying or responding to such calls, you know, I understand that most of youth businesses fall under SMMEs, but they are a special type of, you know, youth of business sector. So I would have loved to hear Ulando in intervention from a government addressing that, because it does not only speak to, you know, developing youth businesses, it also speaks to addressing, you know, the broader unemployment issues that we have in the country. And country too, it's the youth themselves.
Siphinde sibuyele kwinto ye-COVID-19 relief grant. Sisabantu bayakhalaza. Ndi-aplayile last year, but imali ayikaphumi until now. Ingabe upresident ukhe wayitsho uba uzawudelishana njani nalo meko?
Kangayitsho, we had good stories coming from abantu who had received the grant. You know, a couple of people that he mentioned, Baba Save grant. There was one gentleman why save a grant, I think why save for 9 months.
Yeah.
And then he started a food.
Ice cream.
Was it ice cream or food? Yeah. So we didn't hear anything from the president addressing issues related to the systems of releasing the grant, because it's a system issue. Imali has been allocated. It's just now, how does, for example, the institutions that have been mandated to release the money, how can they unlock that barrier so that abantu bayifumane imali, or how can they make a system of applying very easy so that abantu bangasokolo mhlambe uphose loo nto bekufana uyifakile akayifaka.
Mr. Matwagha, masiphinde sibuyele kuwe Asanda. Mr. Matwagha ngathi usebhizi kule nto uthatha tata
Mandibuyele kuwe. Usisuphatha kwinto ye-system ugovernment i-system yakhe lekisha kuyo. Ingabe ugovernment uceba ukuyenza njani le nto, okanye ukhe wayiphatha loo nto leyo uba because ne-home affairs siyazibona ziyasokolisa ukhupha ii-ID zabantu, ngoku ne-post office iyasokolisa noosasa. Ingabe ugovernment uceba ukuyilungisa njani loo nto, okanye what's your take on that?
Yeah, well, look, they have to digitalize, all these systems, because sometimes you wonder whether do you necessarily have to go to your home affairs physically, as you can send online, and then post office yenze what it does best to deliver parcels, including our IDs and our licenses. They should be delivered to our homes. Why should we go there? I waste 7 hours. Birth certificate. Why should we go there in the first place? I mean, the irony is that, Anthony, post office is yavalas namsebenzi, yet abantu must go and queue at home affairs, when actually they could keep a post office busy to deliver drivers, licenses, abantu car licenses, and all these things. So I think sometimes what is important is also to consult the thinking of the private sector, young people with new ideas that I think could actually be more creative, So for me, these services is a convenience because abantu need these documents to get on with their lives, So really, we should just get out of the outdated mode of queuing. Otherwise, why are we not exploring deeper for IR? So for me, this probably is the part that maybe is lacking, because typically of government is used to people going to them. And sometimes it's not necessary.
Asante nkosi kakhulu nakuwe. Babukela emakhaya masike sithi xhaxhe entengisweni ningabheki indawo.
Idiski challenge i-marathon Smali. You must keep your pace yakho nice and steady like Josiah Chugwane, uzopopa gold medal. Amaswaiswa have finally taken off and are no longer at the bottom, but instead it's Sinamoy and could bring them down to earth with a bang. It's not about how you start. Amakosi had a fast start, but Pelelo Moya, as no one can see them at the front of the race. Kapa, Usutu started slow, now but still they are nowhere to be found. Where's Tagalani? Waters over Bona, all the action of the DSTV Diski Challenge.
Okay, masiye ngazikhetha ndiphime njengomuntu wakho. Kuthani la kana unabhonga mawusangifuna ngengxaki yakho.
Ungene phakathi kwendliziyo zakho Thixo. Ungene isoxolelwaniso nothando mesilungileyo. Sithembele kuwe.
And ke wena Thixo iSodoma neGomora wazitshisa babo.
Hayi le nede ndiyakushaya.
Hayi hamba mina.
Ungathi mhlawumbe uyandixelela okanye uyandifundisa okanye ngifundele iBhayibhile. Kanjani?
Usipho phaya uye wayinqila wayipapa. Yemke mnake. Thatha ifoni yami nje.
Loluntu. Yo, yaphinda ke loo nto. Sisebhizi siyathetha apha to house space. Thethani nina
ukwazi lapho. Into endifuna uyazi ke.
Explore like an expert with the series record function. Simply press the info button on your remote. Scroll down to find the show you'd like to record. Press the OK button, then select between recording the entire season or a single episode, and your Explorer will do the rest. It will even stack all the season's episodes together in your playlist, making it easy to find the ones you're looking for. Series recordings can be set for one season at a time. You'll need to set another series recording when a new season of your favorite show starts. Now that you know how to set a series recording, it's time to experience, enjoy, and explore like an expert.
Challenges. Stumbling blocks or starting blocks. Every day we face challenges, and every day we have a choice. To turn back or to power through. At the Department of Science and Innovation, we power through economic crises, pandemics. We search, we collaborate. Because we believe in the power of science, technology, and innovation to create a better world. Since 1994, we've asked, what can we do to make our country and the world a better place? And we've worked to find those answers. Because the challenges of the past weren't obstacles but opportunity. Partnerships, skill, and funding created the solutions we see today. The Department of Science and Innovation, making sure it's possible.
This is Catch Up with the Lotos, where the real conversations are shaped.
There was no love at first sight because when I looked at her, I thought, there's nothing that I can build tonight.
Sex, my favorite topic. It's just sex.
Binge the best box sets this month and catch up on multiple seasons of hot shows you may have missed.
I saw her fall. She was out on the bluff. She went straight up to the edge.
There are cases linked.
Something's not right about any of this. No forensics, no leads.
Ek weet nie, ek hou daarvan dat sy bietjie van 'n professie het.
I'm a makeup artist, a model.
To access, visit the DSTV app or connect your Explorer to the internet and select the dedicated box sets tab. DSTV Premium, Tola Konke, have it all.
Henro is bringing you old favorites with a brand new look and introducing new and exciting variants for everyone. Grab a box of your favorite Henro cookies and start creating your happy moments.
Get 2022 off to a great start with DSTV's School of Laughter. Just like Molly, as she starts the new year at a new school with her ghostly best friend, Scratch. Little Daniel gets all the help he needs from a famous soccer player. And Dr. Jack Lewis exposes all the incredible secrets about brilliant brains. There's loads to learn and explore with DSTV's School of Laughter.
For a very long time, widows and divorcees never had a voice. But Kapa TV, together with Uakhona Kandlongwane Umakhumalo, brings you a new show called The Voice of the Widow. Every Thursday evening, 6:30. You sure don't want to miss it. Join us as we say, the journey continues.
Explore like an expert with the TV guide function. Looking for a specific show and don't know where to find it? Just press the TV guide button. Select list to scroll across a single channel. Or key in a channel number to jump to that channel schedule. You can press P+ to jump to the next day's schedule. or P- to jump back to the previous day. You can also use the grid to scroll across all DSTV channels. Now that you know how to use the TV guide function, it's time to experience, enjoy, and explore like an expert.
Sibuye sinamkele kwakhona amawethu enkqubeni ukanti ngoku sihleli notata uAndile Yengeni. Siyakwamkela tata.
Nkosi kakhulu.
Tata unjani?
Siphilile namhlanje akho nto nani niphilile.
Siyaphila. Tata ingaba intetho yebume besizwe kapresident ingaba uyithathe njani wena?
Ndingatsho okokuba iyathembisa. U-optimistic kakhulu. Well ke akho nto wrong. Okokuba umuntu abe optimistic eyona nto kodwa ibalulekileyo kuxa kungenwa emhlabeni kusetyenzwa ukuze zonke izinto ezizithembiso zikwazi ukufezeka.
Tata ingaba nina ningusida njengoba usitsho usuka kwela cala likaSida, ingaba nina nenza sure njani ukuthi abantu bayabenefita kwi-organization yenu?
USida umele ukudevelopa i-small enterprises. Owethu umsebenzi kakhulu ze sithi siyasebenza okokuba sibancede okokuqala bakwazi uku-identifya i-problems ezenza okokuba bangakwazi ubheka phambili. So siyadiagnose and i-aim yethu kukubanceda from a position apho bangakwazi ukwalatha okokuba yintoni ingxaki to a point apho asizalathi okanye sizi-identifye only i-problem areas. Kodwa sibanceda ukufumana ubuchwepheshe nobuchule bokuzi-adressa. From that eyona nto ke yenzekayo i-businesses ziye zibenefite from i-growth kwi-turnover, zibenefite from as be-accessa ama-markets, bekwazi internal productivity, internal capacities zabo zi-improve, bakwazi ke ngoku ukwenza betere, bakwazi also ukuba ba-create i-jobs. Now if you go back kwi-statement sika-president okokuba it is the business sector that has a primary responsibility of creating jobs. So as we assist them, so do they get that capacity and ability to actually create jobs. As they sell more, as they improve cost structures zabo, they reduce costs so that improves the profitability. So performances zabo ziya improve. That's our job. That's our mandate.
Ingaba ithini ubudlelwane benu no government tata ningusida?
USida uyi-agency kula department kuthiwa ngu-Department of Small Business Development. Siyi-agency ka-DSBD since 2014. Before 2014 ukusungulwa kwaSida ngomthetho wasepalamente 2004 we were an agency of the Department of Trade and Industry. Yeah, now we are under UDSBD. Yes.
Tata ungathi ezona challenges niye niziface zingusida ezidinga urhulumente ezithini?
Kakhulu i-challenge esinayo yi-capacity for USida to satisfy the huge demand that is out there to service small enterprises. I'll give you a simple example. In the branch endikuyo apha eGqeberha, we are a staff complement of only 12 people. Those 12 people, 8 of them are the foot soldiers, what we call practitioners. They are responsible for ensuring that small enterprises actually get advice, get diagnosed, and get assistance with referrals, and they get information relevant for them to actually grow their businesses.
Okay, tata ngoku sijoyinwe ngubhuti Luyolo Thandani. Bhuti unjani? Bhuti Luyolo.
Ndikhona sisi.
Bhuti wam njengomntu one-fitness business, do you think i-speech sika-president sikuthatshile wena njengomntu okwi-business ye-fitness?
Mandibulise kuwe msasazi, igama lam nguLuyolo Thandani from eBhayi eZwide, fitness coach of Bpo Active singukubo active, just to introduce what we do, and Tina si ngabantu okanye si organization ye fitness and health and fitness, whereby we promote health and fitness lifestyle. We do aerobics, we do personal training, where we focus kumdu oyi-one, where we focus also weight, with diet. That's where we what we do. And we also have products. We provide the health smoothies, whereby abantu bayazithenga. We've got strawberry flavor. We also have another flavor, yesibini. We also provide water, and we have fitness wear, your vest, your tights, your shorts. So that's who we are. To touch base on what the president has just said, firstly, Msasazi, President uthethile wavakala. We are grateful for his speech. However, singabantu be fitness industry, single coach, we want to touch base on a first point whereby I've prepared myself while he was talking. President uthethile nge opportunities ezikhoyo, but he didn't mention into edibensene fitness, but he did mention into edibensene health, but not specifically into edibensene health ne fitness. Now I problem okanye challenges banayo thina singabantu be health and fitness lifestyle, infrastructure, and that is one of the disadvantages that we face as the health or fitness coaches, because the infrastructure is not there for us to have these sessions there because we do group sessions, and that is the main issue that we are lacking in our communities, because amaholo that are there, they are not meant for us to use them, and they are not there for us because for specifically there's no hall that I can utilize. And I've been going around. I've been starting the journey since 2015. We started at the but due to weather, we cannot be always outside Berlin. But but that doesn't stop us to do sessions there too, because that is the first thing that we lack, the infrastructure. Then the second part that I felt maybe the president have touched in terms of assisting us, the funding, so that the funding that we want can create the jobs. Those jobs, currently NNMU, you'll find out there are students that are doing life sports science, for example. There is human movement science. Those students, they don't have jobs. So singukubo active, we want to create that space for them to have jobs apha kuthi baphangela apha kuthi benze lento bayifundele esikolweni, because that is what have the president have mentioned, that we want to create a space whereby we create jobs as SMMEs, as business people. Now he also touched on a base, if president that the local is lacking. And the president, the local is record, will mention that he wants to promote the localization and buy local products, of which Kubo Active we have done. We have local products, the smoothies, we have water, we have products, that's South Africa. And within that space, we wanted to create the infrastructure, which means it's going to be a franchise that is going to be in our location, so that people will stop going and but quality is good when they want to utilize fitness programs or fitness gyms, because they always go to other places to want to and exercise. But since Uber Active, we want to touch base and see it with that we create that space in our location. And when I was listening to President, he has mentioned that he was wearing the local design suit. That's where we come in. We want to stop people to buying other brands. They must buy the local brand, our tights, our shorts, our t-shirts, our caps. That is where we penetrate. Buy our own and local made sports and fitness wear. Then guess what I'm singing again, president also, how city local is like sijonga government. How do we benefit on government? We mentioned the president, if there will be police, there will be jobs that will be created. So if 12,000 police officers now, how do we penetrate on that market? Tina Singukubo Active, we want to penetrate and assist that fitness, to create a environment, a wellness environment for that space, which is government. Then we can also access to medical aid, because medical aid, they are only benefit was the company that are not based in South Africa, whereby batata a portion of amount from the medical aid that are from South Africa. Now, Active want to penetrate that market as well, to say we are here, we can also provide these services. These services that is going to be an essential for abasebenzi abaphangelayo abangamapolisa sibizwe sihambe sobajimisa. We provide those services for them. And then we talk about the hospitals, we talk about all those government institutions. For example, in our local municipality, if the local municipality is saying, please, Kubo Active, come in and provide your services. This is where we want to do. And this is what we're bringing, a physical and also a wellness sessions for Abasebenzi Baka government. This is where we enter Kubo Active. City, we are bringing the mindset, working on the mindset, working on the body, working on a physical appearance. We all understand that a healthy mind is a healthy space. If you bring in your fitness, we want to penetrate that market and say, Simukubo Active want to have that specific mindset. Abantu bajime, abantu bazilolonge. Xa ufike emsebenzini namhlanje. So, we turn around strategy. Simukubo Active want to make sure that create jobs. Create jobs for the young and the youth of the South Africa, particularly as from our local university, Nelson Mandela University. That is where we want to attract the investors, outside investors from South Africa. They can come and say, no, we have noticed this, we have noticed what we are doing. Please, can we assist you in terms of building an infrastructure whereby everyone in our community can benefit from it? And while we create that space, we want to make sure that nabantu basezilokishini baya benefit kwezinto, ngoba kaloku we want to know ukuthi umuntu ufunda uye esikolweni afumane umsebenzi. Uthe upresident xa ethetha, most abantu bafumana i-qualification. I think he mentioned ukuthi there are 2 abantwana abafunda abaphangela pha president office, and then abantwana bathi abafundi bayagraduate bangaphangeli. Now, Simukubo Active bayaphangela, they come and baphangele ukuthi bangene bayenze lento kuthiwa bayifundele esikolweni. We also want to create that platform. There are cleaners. I mean, people own a gym facility. We're looking for receptionists. We're looking for personal trainers. There's quite a lot of people that will be required to work on our facility. If again.
Masibuyele kuwe tata. Nangu bhuti yazibeka i-challenges abazifaceayo. Ingaba ningusida ningangenelela njani ekuzisombululeni?
Okay. Uluyolo i-point okokuqala emandi consider nam ayenzayo is that the president in his address he touches on the issue of youth unemployment, but did not necessarily touch on another very important aspect that concerns youth development and getting the youth ready to also open and run their own businesses. So I know the president went on about getting them experience more like for other employment opportunities. But there is a very important element which concerns youth-owned businesses. Okay, Uluyolo is also a youth. I've met him in the business development space. So a problem that we are experiencing is running a business that is in the township as we do. We do have currently a program called TRAP, Township and Rural Enterprise Program.
Okay.
We know that at this point we're covering 7 or 8 little mini industries within that program. And it is a program that needs to be expanded so that it covers almost most businesses, especially that are in the townships and in rural areas. Now, the intervention that Uluyolo, business yake, is seeking really is a market exposure. At this point, it's sitting in the periphery of the market. They need, and this is something that SEDA actually does.
Okay.
Uluyolo becomes a client of SEDA, simple registration process at no cost when they register as a client. A business advisor does an assessment of the business. And then once, as he is indicating that there's this huge need of getting certain segments of the market that are not currently aware of his business, then there has to be strategies that are put together to formulate how we will go out and get the business to be known. So that's the key issue that needs to happen. He's on about how there are children at school and you know, we want fitness. This is a lifestyle issue. So EPE is very, very popular and very famous for its lifestyle, fitness lifestyle. So what he is busy with is very much relevant when one tries to define what PE or Kabecha as we are, what Kabecha is about. Fitness lifestyle fits very much. So other people would come through visiting, which benefits tourism, to also come and enjoy and experience this fitness lifestyle. So I've seen them once on TV, impressed with what they're doing. But like I say, the broader market has to understand that here is an important player that can add value, you know, because that's what it's all about. Once the market sees value, whatever the value proposition, they buy in, and prices are good enough, they will buy it.
Inkosi tata.
Enkosi,
Ngenxa yexesha tatam, bethuna masike siphinde sithi tsigxathe evenkileni kodwa ke sizophinda sibuye.
Igama lami nguPercy M. Lamani wenkqubo iVOB Voice of Debate. Hlala nathi kulolu sithathu phakathi kwensimbi yesixhenxe ukuya kwinsimbi yesibhozo. Kulapho sabe sikunye naye Sodolophi uMandela, uKhansila Eugene Johnson kwaye nomhlalutyi wezopolitiko nomthetho umhlekazi uMpumelelo Bond Nyoka. Idinga phakathi kwensimbi yesixhenxe ukuya kwinsimbi yesibhozo kuchannel 260 on DSTV. That is your Mpuma Kapa with yours truly, Percy M.
There's 5 more reasons why Gomnandi Kaya. It's Ubumnandi reloaded with 5 brand new seasons of our local favorites. 1. The Republic. 2. Zaliwami. 3.
Don't touch me.
The Ranakas. 4. I Blew It. 5. Big Brother Mzansi. WhatsApp upgrade to 060-060-3788 to upgrade to DSTV Compact today and enjoy the best local entertainment. DSTV Compact. Gumnande Kaya.
This is Catch Up with the Lottos, where the real conversations are shaped.
There was no love at first sight because when I looked at her, I thought, there's nothing that I can build tonight.
Sex, my favorite topic. It's just sex.
A word is a word is a word. Or is a word more than a thing read? or a thing heard. It can be more than ink on parchment, and more than the sum of its parts. It's a legal injection to the brain, a literary highway through to our hearts. A word is the start of an idea, the seed of a new story, the root of all change. It can simplify the impossible and make the ordinary seem quite strange. Our words can light the darkness. They can paint worlds never seen. They can soak through each of your senses, whether in book or on silver screen. So a word is not just a word. It is more than a thing merely read or heard. Introducing the South Africa Scriptwriting Incubator Class of 2021.
Okay, asiye ngazikhetha ndiphi mina njengomuntu wakho. Kuthani na xa ulabhonga ngama usangifuna ngenxa yakho.
Ungene phakathi kwelizwe zakho uThixo. Ungenisa uxolelwaniso nothando mesilungileyo. Sithembele
And ke wena Thixo, iSodoma neGomora wazitshisa babo.
Hayi nede ndiyakushiya.
Hayi hamba mani. Ungathi mhlawumbe uyandixelela mna okanye uyandifundisa okanye ndifundele iBhayibhile. Kanjani?
usipho phaya uye wayinqila wayipapa. Yemke mna ke ndathatha ifoni yami
Noluntu. Yo, uyaqina ke loo nto. Sisebhizi siyathetha apha nto ngosiphi space. Thethani nina
ukwazela ukuqhuba. Into endifuna uyazi ke.
Henro is bringing you old favorites with a brand new look and introducing new and exciting variants for everyone. Grab a box of your favorite Henro cookies and start creating your happy moments.
Bunga usipompe ngedrama overwhelmicationated like Big Brother Mzansi just to ayebo your spirits up. Usikhathe nge-HD decoder for only $4.99. Reload bumnandi. Get and stay connected. DSTV bumnandi ekhaya.
Greetings to you all, Babukeli Balapa and Mpuma Kapa TV. I'd like to wish you all a wonderful and Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Single Iron Art, we will be entertaining you this December right here on channel 260, Mpuma Kapa TV. We are there every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Tilapa Makanda, we're going to be showing you beautiful artists as is the studios at Rhodes University. I can't wait to show you what they have in store for you. Catch Iron Art every Tuesday evening on channel 260 Umagapa TV.
Sibe sinamkele kwakhona amawethu kwinkqubo yethu ye-State of the Nation Address panel discussion. Ngoku ke sijoyinwe ngubhuti Mpho Jonas. Bhuti, right?
Ngrantu njani sisi?
Ndiyaphila. Bhuti, as someone who's responsible for Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality Trade and Investment, what are your plans to assist the president or the government in its recovery plan?
No, thanks, ma'am. But just to go a bit one step back, it's the emphasis that the president plays on the creation of conducive business environment for our businesses and investors that come into the city, the cutting of red tapes. So for us as the municipality, it is in terms of creating structures that support that and creating of structures that will create a conducive business environment for our investors that come into the city. So one of such structures that we intend to do and we are busy doing right now is the creation and the establishment of the Nelson Mandela Bay One-Stop Shop.
Okay.
That one-stop shop, then it becomes a single interface for investors as they come into the city. Because at current moment, when investors are coming to a city, they go to different places, you know, to get the services that they need to get. So with the establishment of the one-stop shop, It cuts the time that the investor takes, to get certain applications being processed, and also he speaks about government not being there to create jobs, and apart from that, he says that he lobbies the business sector to really rally behind the plans that he has shared in the business plan in the SONA. So for us, then it comes back to us to say that are we coordinated in the Nelson Mandela Bay in terms of our efforts to attract investment into the city? So as such, I said creation of structures. So on our side, then we are creating structures like Nelson Mandela Bay Trading Investment Forum that looks at ensuring that all economic stakeholders within the city are aligned and coordinated towards the same vision as it pertains to trading investment in the city, and also that the bottlenecks are identified as part of that forum. That's one of the objectives, to identify bottlenecks, and not only to identify bottlenecks, but really to come up with solutions in terms of then how do we go forward. And that forum includes both public and private sector and the businesses that are in the city.
Ungathi Bhuti, as trade and investment, what job opportunities have you come up with for youth yalapha eNelson Mandela Bay?
Look, maybe I need to mention one thing that the president mentioned, or one of the priority sector that he mentioned, which is the BPO sector or the GSP sector. That sector has a potential to actually employ a lot of youth that only have matric or the graduates that are coming into the into the work environment. So as the Nelson Mandela Bay, we have partnered with an association called Bpo, which is a national association responsible for the BPO sector, taking into consideration that as the region, Eastern Cape, we have been poised as a tier 2 location for the BPO sector. So there's a lot of work that we're doing there. And for example, through what we call investment incentives, we have managed to attract one of the investors that is in the city, which is DWI in the BPO sector, hiring a number of youth in the city. They have made commitment to create about 200 plus jobs for the youth. And part and parcel of that is to really reskill the youth. For example, there's a program that DWI is running with APSA, looking at the people that were in the tourism sector or the hospitality sector but lost their jobs. So we are reskilling those youth. It's about 34 of them. And DWI is a beneficiary of our investment incentive. So that's how then we're trying to assist the government and the local government here to create jobs for the youth.
Bhuti, in the job opportunities, especially in Nelson Mandela, it has been said that there will be job opportunities, but you will see that the number of unemployment rate keeps on increasing. What could be the cause of that?
Look, our population is growing at the end of the day, and that is one of the factors that will have will impact or impede our efforts in terms of creating jobs. But we don't want to pass the blame there. But the other factor is that are we attracting enough investments into the city? But as we stand at current moment, there are a lot of efforts that are going into that, particularly us being guided by our economic recovery plan that has a strong emphasis into attraction of foreign direct investment and domestic investment, and also assisting the local investors that are here in the city. So when that happens, then we will start to see things changing. But the high unemployment rate, really, it is not unique to the Nelson Mandela Bay only. It's countrywide, and COVID-19 has really set us a few steps back, not even few steps back, just set us 10 steps back. So we really have to recover from those setbacks that we experienced during COVID-19.
Masiye ku but ayabulela right?
But ayabulela. Ingathi babukeli sisenengxaki no but ayabulela.
Molo sisi.
Okay. Ewe but
Bulela lona.
Ewe but right namhlanje.
Kuhle sisi ndiyabulela ngelithuba ndiyathemba nawe ukuba zonke into zihamba kakuhle kulo cala sisi.
But njengomuntu osuka kwa NYDA ungathi ndichonge ntoni wena ningumbutho wenu kwi-speech sika president namhlanje?
Eyona nto ephambili esifumeneyo ukuba it's the idea of a new consensus. In other words, ukuba kuvunyelwana ukuba nansi into esibonayo okanye nazi izinto esisokolisa thina as a nation, and they spoke, and President uthethile about a new consensus on unemployment, inequality and poverty. And thina NYDA, what we understand is to say whenever there's a new consensus okanye there's anything, ours is to always ask what is the role of abantu abatsha, and also to try and mainstream the issues okanye izinto that would affect abantu abatsha. So, and also the other thing that we took away from SONA president namhlanje was to also highlight, at least from a business point of view, to look at some of the opportunities that's available for, and that should be available for abantu abatsha, because he touched on some issues such as the need to redo infrastructure, renewable energy. He talked about spectrum, SCC, land auctioning of new spectrum, and also industrializing the use of hemp and cannabis. So Tinezu NYDA, as those, since President has making some of the priorities, ours is to find a way is to say, how do we make sure that young people are at the core or at the center of these advancements of wealth? And part of it would be to support them through programs. One of the programs that we have is our grant program, where we actually fund young people that want to start businesses or are already in business, because we understand at times abantu abatsha have got all the talent in the world, but there are certain barriers as a core. And to a large extent, some of them are financial, some of them are skills-based, and some of them are questions of getting exposure and opportunities. So that is our opportunity as NYDA. And also, once again, with the empowerment of abantu abatsha, what we also picked up was what the president said, it's not the government that creates jobs, but rather that's the function of business, which we agree wholeheartedly with. And we understand this is a space that young people have to occupy, because the future and the future jobs would come from these innovations that come from abantu abatsha. And ours as NYDA is to continuously support them and to make sure that their voices and their concerns are continuously heard and are continuously mainstreamed in all issues.
But into ye-youth empowerment ayonto iqala uvela kwi-State of the Nation address. Into linika ithemba into yokuba kulona unyaka noko izinto zakuba bhetere?
I think it's a question of as we move from one point to another, there must be a bit of change or a bit of progress. If you remember, like you said, I think it was last year, if not the previous SONA, where the president had announced a program whereby we're going to work to fund 1,000 businesses, youth-owned businesses in 100 days. And that is something that did happen with the assistance through the National Youth Development Agency. So we were mindful of such incremental steps as in Zekai. Also, as far as youth development, we'd also look at even the partnership through the platform SA Youth, with Harambe and other partners, whereby there's a central platform where young people can go when they are looking for employment, upload the CVs without even needing a mobile date. So we see those as a bit of progress. And also, there have been promises, yes, but ours is to always monitor and always to look at other creative ways to making sure that youth issues are always at the forefront. But as I said, there's incremental changes in Zekayo, and there are also areas where we want to see a greater strides from Uhulumende. But again, we will not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
But ngeziphi opportunities eninozinika abantu abaqala like businesses up Nelson Mandela, because it seems like abantu abatsha abazama businesses in Nelson Mandela, they are struggling to get their businesses like growing. So ingabanina ingcebiso enizinikayo abo bantu ningu NYDA zithini?
Okay. Ndiyabulela sisi ngalo mbuzo. I think I will first touch on about there's 3 main programs esinazo that deal with abantu abanamashishini okanye bafuna uqala amashishini. Eyokuqala bendisendiyithethile ngayo i-grant funding, because into esiyaziyo ukuba, as I said earlier, ndenza umzekelo womuntu omtsha unaso iskill uye kulo college, let's say you're a graphic designer, but once uphume from the college you might not have the necessary equipment to run a business. That's where we come in. We were able to fund you so that ukwazi uba nezidingayo. Same would apply mhlawumbi if you're a carpenter. Same would apply even if you are mhlawumbi in the informal sector ufuna uziqalela i-car wash. So into esiyenzayo thina we fund abantu abatsha abafuna uqala business, because we understand it's not easy for a young person aye ku-commercial bank afune a loan because you don't have no collateral. I-credit record yakho ayikho kanye imbi. So what we do, we're able to fund, and also we understand that it's not about ukugibisela imali qha kwizinto, but also how do we've got a program which we call business management, BMT, which is business management training, where we take abantu abatsha through an understanding or a workshop as to how do you go about running a business, so that even though we might fund businesses, but there's a proper understanding as to how do you go about running a business. Umzekelo, ungumuntu omtsha ungathi mhlawumbe ungenelwa i-50,000 uthathe i-48,000, ungenelwe i-60 uthathe i-58, and then uthi business yakho ayiperformi kakuhle. So you want umuntu omtsha akwazi udifferentiate between yena ne-business. So that's what we do. We offer lot training. Same thing as into ze-costing, siyazi-offerisha out. So we offer funding, we offer the support in the sense of the necessary business management training so that people knows how to go about running a business. And also we go a step further. We look at non-financial assistance. For example, the business here, and on Facebook, I would love to have a website, but if you look at the costs of the business, I do not have the money for or a comprehensive business plan so that I can apply for funding elsewhere. So what we do, we get nice service providers, which are companies that do it professionally. Because for so that can have access to one. So in essence, how do I assist Abandabacha? Through funding, through the business acumen, and also assistance with in non-financial services. That is at least about 3 of those. And also classic funding, we then monitor you or mentor you for a period of 2 years. Because the idea is that at times might not be exposed to certain things. It's our duty to make sure, long as we funding, we do all that we can to try and make sure that the business does not go under. That's why every 3 to 6 months, we'll knock on those businesses that we funded. What are you struggling with? What is going well? Okay, there's funding. These are the requirements. There's well-read. These are the requirements. So we'll fund, we'll capacitate, we'll give you non-financial assistance, and also we'll mentor you for a period of at least 2 years after SIG funding. And that is through zonke branches that as lapha Eastern Cape.
Ebhutisi saxakene ne-COVID-19, ingaba niyi-NYDA inichaphazele njani okanye nithwaxe njani into ye-COVID-19?
I-COVID-19, I think isixhwaxile njengazonke organizations, but eyona i-positive nto esinokwazi uyithatha from i-COVID, it has forced us to be innovative. Yabulela ngalo mbuzo, because in the course of COVID, siye develop an online platform. This online platform means umuntu omtsha uyakwazi ehleli kokwabo endlini a-aplayele zonke services za-NYDA without physically aye NYDA. Now loo nto mhlawumbi beyizawukwazi ukwenzeka, but i-COVID has forced us to understand that we can still deliver government services without necessarily being in physical contact with abantu. So those are the things that we learned. We need to have an online presence. And also we have to get to a point whereby we must understand even the policies that we have, how rigid are they? Because COVID also taught us ezinye policies were formed with the idea of a utopia, a perfect situation. How do we make sure that the policies that were flexible? So those are the things that we learned. We learned how to be flexible, and we were able to develop an online platform whereby abantu are able to apply for zonke services at NYDA without physically ukuze office.
Okay, enkosi kakhulu bhuti wami, enkosi kakhulu siyabulela.
Masibuyele kuwe bhuti. Do you think the government has failed youth South Africa?
I really don't think so. I think that government is doing its utmost best to put in place programs that are specifically targeted at the youth. and the development of the youth within the country, within local municipalities. And for example, I mean, the president speaks about the youth employment portal. That is there, and there are a number of young people who have been really employed by registering through that platform. You know, yes, we do have a huge crisis of youth unemployment in the country that needs to be addressed. Yes, programs currently might not be that enough, but the government also, at the end of the day, needs to be applauded in terms of programs that they have put in place to address the youth unemployment in the country.
Inkosi Bhuti, inkosi kakhulu. Mbukele khaya bekangako besikuphathele kona kwi-State of the Nation Address Discussion Panel. Mbukeli ke sawuphinda sihlangane kunyaka olandelayo. Siyabulela.